Welcome to SenterME, sis. My name is Charlotte Louis. I am the owner and founder of SenterME, Self-Love for Black Women. And we are here to give you tips, tools, and education on how to establish and maintain your self-love journey. These are your self-love essentials. And today we're going to be talking about why asking for help is self-love too. We're going to be discussing the strong Black woman, how to build your tribe, and the benefits of interdependence. I'm also going to be sharing a personal story about how I came to realize that asking for help was self-love too. And so make sure that you click the subscribe button so that you stay locked in our community to get the self-love support that you deserve. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the strong Black woman, listen, sis is not it, okay? Sis is not it. Sis is out here struggling and sis is out here suffering in silence, okay? There are just so many statistics out there. One that is like really daunting to me, that Black women live on an average of 3 years less than every other woman in America. And so I feel like if being strong is cutting 3 years off of my lifespan, baby, I don't want to be strong no more. Like, I don't want her, okay? I would go ahead and hang that cape up today because that's just one of the statistics, right? And strong Black woman, we have to acknowledge that carrying everything by yourself and not asking for help carries a lot of consequences. And while everyone can experience depression, women are twice as likely than men, and Black women are half as likely to seek help. We are not out here asking for help, and asking for help is self-love too. 10% of Black women are reporting that everything feels like an effort compared to 6% of white women who feel the same way. Asking for help is going to be critical in your self-love journey because it helps you in maintaining your mental, emotional, and even your physical health and wellness. And so what we're going to do is, because I could talk about the strong Black woman all day long and why she is a burden to Black women versus some kind of badge of honor, because that's just not the case. I tell my clients all the time that it's not that Black women are stronger. It's that we've been doing more with less for generations. And so there's a difference. We're human and we have to start allowing ourselves to be that. You know, the strong Black woman, she is this robot that should not ever even be a standard in any community, let alone ours. So let's talk about some of the consequences of not asking for help, because these are likely some symptoms that you may be experiencing as a strong Black woman. So some of the potential physical consequences of not asking for help include, but are not limited to, stress and anxiety, prone to injury, weight loss or weight gain, rapid weight loss and weight gain. And the reason being is because when you are existing in an environment where you're always worrying about the bills, about everybody else, and putting everyone else before you and their needs before your needs, you are ignoring what's going on with your own body. You're ignoring the aches and pains that you are experiencing on a day in and day out basis. You're ignoring the stress eating or the not eating because you're stressed. And so your body is taking on a lot of blows because of the neglect. And that's what it is. And so because of this, you know, Black women are experiencing a tremendous amount of health issues, particularly with heart disease, because we are not paying attention to what's going on in our bodies. We're not paying attention to ourselves and pouring back into ourselves. And in a personal story for me, when I broke my ankle, I did not realize at that time that I had gained 80 pounds. I was 80 pounds heavier than I'd ever been. I didn't even know that I had put on 80 pounds. And when I broke my ankle, it wasn't like some type of accident where it's like, oh yeah, you definitely gonna break your ankle doing that. I was walking to the kitchen, sis. I was walking to the kitchen and I didn't fall or anything. I thought I had rolled my ankle. Turns out I broke every bone in my ankle. So when I took that first step thinking, oh, I'm just going to walk it off, ignoring the pain that I was feeling. That's how disconnected I was from my body and really being in tune with what was going on. And so I tried to take that first step saying, you know what? Oh no, I'm just going to walk it off. And could not walk because I had broke every bone in my ankle. And so I'm telling you, that is very important for us to start paying attention to our bodies, especially because when we are not asking for help, when we're not leveraging our tribe, when we're not leveraging our network to help us as we should, as we deserve, then we are putting an enormous amount of pressure on our bodies. And because we're not paying attention to our bodies because of all these, responsibilities and tasks that we're putting on ourselves, these little minor aches and pains continue to grow and manifest into larger issues and the health issues that we see Black women disproportionately experiencing than any other race and gender in America. And so I want you guys to really think about that. And so let's go ahead and get into the emotional impact or potential emotional consequences of not asking for help. Okay, so let's get into some of the potential emotional consequences of not asking for help. They include, but are not limited to, unprocessed emotions built up in the body, easily triggered, and disconnection from our authentic feelings. Now, all three of these are directly correlated with each other. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the impact of your unprocessed emotions and having unprocessed emotions inside of your body. As Black women, oh gosh, some of us really suppress that anger as if expressing anger is like the plague. It's like so unbecoming. And because of that, we are positioning ourselves in a very dangerous emotional health state because our unprocessed emotions don't go anywhere. When we suppress, neglect, or avoid the things that we really feel are authentic feelings and emotions, they don't go anywhere. They start to manifest through our personality. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, she's a brain scientist at Harvard, and her research shows that when we don't allow our emotions to flow easily through us, that what happens is if we hold on to them for a few days, they become our mood. If we hold on to them for a few weeks, they become our temperament. And any longer than that, they become our personality. And the question that I really want to ask you is, could you imagine receiving love through anger, receiving love through sadness? Because everything that we receive has to be filtered through what's going on inside of us first, our internal experience. And because we have these unprocessed emotions, that is going to position us to have a very difficult time receiving love, receiving support, and receiving help. We have to get into the habit of processing our emotions because this is going to help us be less likely to be triggered by day-to-day events. This is going to help us forge a deeper connection with our authentic feelings and really improve our emotional wellness. And so when we are not asking for help, we are really hindering ourselves from expanding and growing emotionally. I remember being in a position where I started to grow resentment for those around me because I was always showing up and giving for those around me and not, really paying attention to what my needs were and checking in with myself or communicating my authentic feelings because, I wanted to give, but instead of asking for help, I would just assume that they were not going to help me. I was assuming because they weren't offering the way that I was offering that they didn't want to help me or that they were selfish and they were always, wanting to receive. And I was always the one that was having to give. They get to sit down and not do anything because I'm the one running around here like a chicken with my head cut off. And that just was not the case. I just created this scenario in my mind because I was the one that was so giving and I put the expectation on other people to be like me. And that wasn't fair either. And so I want you to consider this when we're talking about the potential emotional consequences of not asking for help. All right, so let's get into the potential mental consequences of not asking for help. They include, but are not limited to, the imposter syndrome, high functioning depression, and having a fear of loss of independence. Now, all three of these I can relate to intimately. And so let's talk about the imposter syndrome as it relates to being this presenting yourself as being this perfect person who doesn't need help, who's got it all together. This is a very toxic and dangerous situation to be in because you give this impression to others that you don't need help. So when life happens and you find yourself in a position where you actually do need the help, you don't even have this comfortability of even going to others, because in your mind, oh gosh, they're going to see me as somebody who is broken, who doesn't have it together, who can't handle anything. And that's just not the case. That's not the case, baby girl. And so being able to ask for help really helps to diminish and conquer that imposter syndrome. And in high functioning depression, this is something that really shook our community, because a lot of Black women started to realize, hey, this might be something that I'm experiencing. Because if you are experiencing on an ongoing basis, a very regular basis over a long period of time, sadness, loss of energy, loss of motivation, just life is an uphill battle constantly. This is serious. This is not, you deserve more. And asking for help is how you get it. And this has nothing to do with you not being independent or not being capable or not being strong. Okay, forget that, all right? This is 100% with you growing and expanding by way of, leveraging your tribe and creating this interdependent connections in your life, so that when life happens, we are in a position to band together with those around us that care, support, and love us, so that we can get to that next phase and grow into that next level of our lives. And so this is why asking for help is so important as it relates to our mental health. In your self-love journey, you are going to come to the realization that all the decisions that you make are going to reflect a certain degree of love that you have for yourself. And the reason why this is so important is because now we're going to start looking at the way that we respond to our triggers differently. We're going to start connecting more with what's going on with our body. We're going to be communicating our authentic feelings and emotions a lot more regularly and consistently, because we know that the message that we're sending is ultimately the reflection of how we love ourselves. And this is really important, especially when we start asking for help. It's not about what others think or feel. It's about how we feel. And that's most important. You want to make sure that the decisions that you are making say, I love me. And so let's get into what it looks like to build your tribe. Your tribe is going to consist of three types of people: your dependents, your partners, and your associates. Now, we are going to talk a little bit about each. So make sure that you have a pen or your notepad ready so that we can start really mapping out the types of people that we have in our current environment, so that we can start really figuring out what it takes to build a thriving tribe around us. You have dependents, it can be easy to just do everything by yourself. It can, it seems that way. But when we are a lot of times putting our dependents' needs before our own, this is very common with mothers being, putting our children's needs before our own. This is what gets us in those situations where we feel like We can't have privacy because we're moms. We can't have boundaries because we're moms. At the end of the day, that is false. You can totally have boundaries. You can totally have privacy. You just have to communicate. And communicating is a win-win when it comes to your dependents, because not only are you learning how to connect deeper with your own feelings and communicating your internal experience and what your needs are, and asking for help and delegating some of the small tasks that they can potentially do themselves. But this is also teaching them the same things. My children, they have words in their vocabulary like boundaries and privacy and trust and things of that nature at the ages that they are. I have a 3-year-old and 8-year-old because I learned how to communicate better with them about what I needed and what my what my needs were, and asking them for help. So communicating with your dependents is going to help teach them independence as well. It's going to help teach them how to communicate when they need things and how to ask for help and things of that nature. It is a win-win all the way around. So make sure that you are positioning your living space with your dependents in a way where you can have the privacy that you need as a mom. I know that we think that letting them come in that bathroom with us while we're using the bathroom is okay. It is not okay. You need privacy because you don't want to exist in a space where, privacy is foreign. This is something that you deserve, and you can have it when you're at home in your personal space. And so, now my daughter, she's 3, and she says things like, my personal space. And my son will say things like, oh, she's not respecting my boundaries. Like, these are things that they're learning too. And so as we grow by learning how to ask for help, we're teaching our dependents to do the same thing. All right, so when it comes to your partners, these are your spouses, life partners, besties, parents, or close family members that you can come to for anything. For anything. You can pick up the phone, you can call them, you can talk about your innermost feelings, you can ask them for help with anything, and same and vice versa. These are your people who are going to help you stay grounded for sure. These are the partners. These partners are going to help you in building and growing. And so you need to be able to schedule regular time so that you're spending that quality time with your partners, just to check in, let them know how you're doing, ask them how they're doing. Where do you need help? Where do they need help? These are essential interdependent connections that really are the foundation of your tribe. And so it's very important to cultivate these relationships with your partners. Your associates are where your tribe really expands because they include so many people. These are your friends that you can go out with and hang out with, who share the same interests and hobbies. These are your managers, your coaches, your teachers, your therapists, your doctor, your attorneys, your HR department. These are people that you want to also cultivate relationships, because these are the people that you can go to for advice on personal development, advice on anything in their expertise, right? And so you want to be able to tap into that collective wisdom so that you are not trying to figure everything out on your own, and you're prepared and you know what to expect if things, certain things come up. You know who to go to, you know who to, whose expertise you can tap into. And this is a part of your tribe, and why it is so important to ask for help, because now you have all of these different people in your life that you can call on to whenever you need advice or information that could help you in any certain scenario or situation that you may find yourself in. So the associates are very much essential in building a thriving tribe as well. I had to wake up and smell the roses when I realized that asking for help with self-love too was something that really came crashing down on me and my family. We moved very far away from our partners, and I used that as an excuse not to build an extension of my tribe in our new location. And because of that, not only did it have a negative severely negative impact on my emotional and mental health, it also started to have a negative impact on my son's emotional and mental health as well, because I wasn't putting any effort into expanding our associates and our tribe in general here in this new location. I was just trying to do everything by myself, show up for my children in every way that I possibly can by myself. Anytime we would do things, it would just be us three. And because of that, we ended up going through a situation that was very tough for us. And that was when I realized, like, okay, I have to start building my tribe. It takes a village. I mean, it really takes a village, sis. I'm telling you, there's just really no excuse to not get out there and start building connections and relationships with people so that you can have a tribe around you, because you should not have to do everything on your own. You should not. And so let's get into the benefits of interdependent connections. All right. So some of the benefits of having interdependent connections include, but are not limited to, self-awareness. Now, when you improve your self-awareness, things change. All right. Things start to get upgraded in ways that you could never even imagine. When you are more self-aware, you are tapping into what it is that you're truly feeling, your authentic feelings, your communication improves, the way that you are building and cultivating relationships improves, your self-love environment improves, you start to experience higher levels of success. You are also going to experience mood consistency, a better mood and a better mood consistency. And so that's like a win-win for everyone, right? But one of the most important things that I feel like is a really benefit from having interdependent connections is that generational wellness. So whether you are a mom, an auntie, you are going to cousin, big cuz, you're going to be laying that blueprint for generations that come after us and showing them the importance and the value of having a tribe around you, the importance of asking for help. So you can be independent while having interdependent connections to help you in walking in your purpose and gaining that self-actualization that we all want and we're all striving for. And this is really going to show a reflection of self-love at its best. Being able to ask for help is so essential. And that's why we started the channel with our Why Asking for Help is Self-Love 2 topic. This is going to be really important in your self-love journey. If you struggle with asking for help, comment below. Let's talk, sis. Let's talk. Let's talk about some of the hurdles that you're experiencing so that we can overcome those and conquer those. If you found this video helpful, make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you're commenting, you're sharing. I want to make sure that I am putting out everything that I possibly can on self-love to help you in establishing and maintaining your self-love journey, sis. Thank you so much for tapping in. And remember, self-love is a must, not a maybe.